The objective was whatever you wanted, so you can make an argument for success. One of you had an objective without instructions. No plan. Right? How did that go for you? And you kind of got something that looked like the picture, but...
To be honest, I was quite confused as to why I have colors and I can't see the colors on here.
Right? You kind of... You got a car. Right? It's not the right car, but you have a car. Right? It looked like you struggled a little bit with it. You were trying to figure out which piece went where. It was definitely a little bit harder. And one of you not only had an objective, but you had step-by-step instructions as to how to reach the objective. And it wasn't too hard to do, right? All you had to do is, the pieces were not stuck together in the wrong places. Thank you to my 3-year-old daughter. But there you go. Ryder, you started out with the instructions. You started out with a plan and an objective, and you chose not to follow the plan. So I took your plan away from you. If you're not going to use the plan, you don't get it.
I was trying to figure out how the plan worked.
Well, sorry bud, I'll let you struggle through it, but we are a little bit pressed for time. So, anyway, the point of the Lego demonstration is to show everybody that when you have a clearly defined objective and a plan to get you there, it's not too hard to follow the steps to do it, right? When you don't have an objective, it doesn't matter what you build, because there is no objective to reach. But it usually turns into kind of a hot mess.
See, I snuck a peek at other people's plans. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's not illegal. You can do that,
Yeah.
right? We can talk to other people and be like, hey, what's your plan?
Yeah.
Hey, I really like that.
Yeah.
Let me adopt that for something that works for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. There's nothing saying you can't look over somebody's shoulder and be like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
I like that. Right? Or maybe you look over their shoulder like, ooh,
I should have
I
followed the plan.
don't like that. Right? Here's a few examples of everyday planning. I don't know if you want to work through this with me. I don't have the workbook in front of me, but everyday planning, houses. Right? What do you use to build a house?
Wood.
Yes, you use wood. Some places use wood. Some people use concrete. Some people use mud and grass. Right? You use a blueprint. Right? You have a blueprint for building a house. Would you let a contractor build your house that didn't have a blueprint?
We gotta-
Come on in.
Hello.
Come on
I'm really
in.
late, but
That was a rhetorical question. No, you wouldn't. Why?
Just like Lego states.
It's just like the Lego. Right? You don't know what kind of house you're going to get. You don't know what kind of condition it's going to be in when you get it. Right? We have a business plan. Right? Would you support somebody in a business that didn't have a business plan? Probably not. Why?
You're not wasting your money.
You'd be wasting your money,
I
right?
don't know what their
Wait.
end
Effort.
result is gonna be.
Yeah, they don't even know what they're trying to accomplish, really,
Yeah.
right? The plan increases your chances of success. We know this intuitively, right? But for some reason we don't do it. The game plan. Ryder, did Bruce Boudreau come up with a really good game plan in the Stanley Cup Finals?
That's a Biggs' coach, right?
No, that was Washington's coach. Washington's ex-coach.
Right.
That was 98, right?
Was that?
That was in...
No, that was this year.
No, Barry Trotz was their coach.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Barry Trotz
The
was their
Washington
coach.
Capitals?
Yeah.
Barry Trotz.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boudreau.
It was Barry Trotz.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I went
Because
with
they were
years
just-
in.
They were just
Ball
talking about
guys,
that
right?
on the
They all
radio.
look the same.
Anyway, the Washington Capitals.
Ball guys all
Game
the same.
plan.
Like you.
Game plan against the against the Vegas Golden Knights. And I would suggest that they did a really good job where everybody else failed, right?
Especially the Kings. They got swept.
Do you
by the
think
Atlantic.
the expansion team walked through almost everybody until they hit the Capitals at the end? Do you think they would have beat them without the plan?
No.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Right? A fitness plan. You wanna be an athlete? You wanna lose a few pounds? You wanna, I don't know, you wanna run a marathon? I wanna run a marathon. You need to have a plan to do it, because it's a grind. If you don't have a plan, you're not gonna do it, because it's hard, right? So, picking up a guitar, don't have a plan to do it, hasn't got done. I wanna do it for the last decade. Ryder can play better than I can, and Ryder doesn't play very well. Let's see, plan of action. Project plan. Jody, you're familiar with the project plan. How often do the project plans work really well?
How often do they work really well?
Yes.
Who do I work for? Some companies they work really well, others not so much.
Others not so much. Why don't they work very well?
Because people are stubborn.
Because people don't usually follow them, right?
Yes, that's right.
It's because we get into the game, and then it's like, I need everything done right now. It's like, that's not supposed to be done for 3 weeks. I don't care, do it. You worked on a pipeline. You know the truth of that, right? The travel plan. Do you realize people spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their lives? Why?
Because vacations are fun.
Vacations are fun, yes.
You have more
And you're
growth.
spending a lot of money to go on. You don't want to get there and have it be a disaster. Right? Come home, you'd be pretty disappointed. You'd be like, I spent $5,000 on this thing. I didn't even enjoy myself. It rained and the drinks weren't good and the food kind of sucked and we got food poisoning that one day and
Hung over for 3 days, I could have done
Yeah.
it at home.
exactly. Exactly. We know that it's not going to turn out well if we don't plan it. And the event plan. I have taken event planning courses. There's a lot to it. Everything from food preparation to allergy concerns to listing ingredients to lighting and ambiance and music and marketing and guests and so on and so forth. Anybody that has been a part of a wedding knows how much work a wedding is. And relatively speaking, a wedding is a small event, right? Without a plan, how's it going to turn out?
Wow.
It's going to be a disaster, right? And your bride may divorce you shortly after. Or you may divorce her, depending on, right?
Depending on who messes it up.
How does a plan help us make decisions? Well, we've gone over this a number of times, but it keeps you focused, right? It keeps you focused on the big goal, it allows you to focus on milestones, and it really, really hones in on your focus on step-by-step actions. What do I need to do today? What do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do the day after that? I wake up knowing what I have to do, therefore I can do it, right? It helps resist the need for instant gratification. This is one of those weaknesses inherent in human nature. As far as our society today goes, it served us very well at one point in time, right? At one point in time, hunter-gatherer, we kind of come across things and we felt the urge to consume them because we didn't know when we'd come across, food or water or shelter again. So we needed this. It was a survival instinct. We needed to cater to that. We don't need that anymore, right? Food is fairly plentiful. Essentially, everybody in North America has some form of shelter, or it's available to them if they are willing to work for it a little bit. we have clean running water, we have clothes, we have government assistance programs for those of us that are disabled or unable to work and provide for ourselves. Right? Those things are available to us. We don't need this desire for instant gratification anymore. It doesn't serve us well. As a matter of fact, it harms us in today's society. Because we don't need these things that our survival depends on, we fill that with other things. We fill that with shoes. We fill it with clothing. We fill it with hockey cards. Right? Or like, I want these things because it makes me feel good now. So having your plan allows you to focus on the big picture. And when you're focused on the big picture and you look at this thing now, much like drinking when I'm 20 years old, had I been focused on the big picture, I would have been able to see, no, this doesn't serve me. I'm not going to care about that in 10 or 12 years. And I don't. I could care less. Going to the bar when I was 20 hasn't really added any value at all to my life, I would say. Right? It was fun at the time, absolutely. It made me feel good at the time. Doesn't serve me now.
Huh.
Right?
It's actually funny you say that. My wife and I, we're 21 and 23.
Yeah.
When we go out to a bar, we have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
We go to a bar and the first thing we think of is, how the hell do we get out of here and go home?
That's a good sign. That's a really good sign that maybe you should be spending that time doing other things, right?
Exactly.
You don't need to keep up with the crowd. If you're focused on, what am I going to be doing in 10 years? And what can I do now to enhance that in 10 years? You might find that you're happier, and you're more engaged, a little more enthusiastic for life, right? So it helps us resist that need for instant gratification. And it applies perspective. Much like I just said, it lets you look at the big picture and it lets you compare how this need for this thing right now serves you in the big picture, right? It allows you to remove emotion. Emotion is the worst decision-making tool that we have available to us. I am a firm believer that emotion is the worst decision-making tool that we have. Why?
Because it's reactive.
It's very reactive. It serves this need for instant gratification. It serves our ego. It's like, I need to be right in this situation. Doesn't matter if you are or not, the need to be right is there, right? Because your emotion is telling you, argue this until you're blue in the face, right? It allows you to put off the workout because you know it's going to be hard. Maybe you're scared of it. Maybe it's like, oh, I just really don't want to do that. I want to watch this TV show or I want to watch this YouTube video, right? Because it makes me feel good. Logic would say, do what the plan indicates, right?
Yeah.
Emotion would say, don't do what the plan indicates. Serve what you want now. It builds the framework for the evolution of the plan. You're going to build a plan, it's going to look all neat and tidy on paper, and it's going to get messed up. I promise you, your plan is not going to look like, once it's completed, the way it did the day that you wrote it. Right? You're going to run into obstacles. You're gonna get to forks in the road where maybe you didn't see it when you started the plan, when you started the journey, but you got halfway up the road and you're like, hey, there's this path here. I didn't see it. And it takes me to this other place. And I think I like that better. And the whole objective changes, right? But you never would have saw that if you didn't start in the first place. Or maybe it's just an opportunity, or maybe it's another obstacle that you didn't see, now you have to deal with. So you have to take a couple steps back and reroute yourself. But having the plan there to start allows you to adopt or adapt once you get there, right? And it helps us stay focused on the big picture. I feel like I covered that a little bit already, so I will carry on. The financial plan. Again, I'm a financial advisor, so can't get out without talking about a financial plan. You'll notice, or you may not notice, I can't remember how I set up the sheet, but I flip-flop number 1 and number 2. I feel like your first objective when making a financial plan is identifying, establishing goals and objectives. Because if you don't have your goals and objectives, you really don't have anything to plan for, right? We can plan for retirement, but we covered it earlier. If we don't have the objective clearly defined, what does retirement look like for me? Thank you. Then it doesn't really matter how we plan, right? Maybe we meet the objective that we want, or we decide we want when we're 65, maybe we don't. Number 2, we want to gather information. What do we want to gather information about? We want to gather information about the goal that we have. We want to gather as much information about where we are now. And we want to project as much as we can and gather as much information about the middle, right? The obstacles and the opportunities that are going to present themselves. Again, we're not going to be able to see everything. It's a really thick forest. But we'll see some of it, right? We'll be able to plan for some of it, and we'll be able to maybe, pack an extra shield or an extra lunch kit, just in case, we get lost a little bit. Number 3, we want to analyze our current position. Again, we need to know where we are now, because if we don't know where we are now, how are we going to know which direction we need to go to get to our goal? Right? We don't know, what resources that we have. We don't know what skills and abilities we have. We don't know who's available to help us out along the way. Then it makes it really hard for us to build an effective plan to get to where we want to go. Number 4, you want to develop your plan of action. So that is really just getting the plan out on paper and giving you something to follow. Right? You need the step-by-step instructions to show you, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do tomorrow? So on and so forth. What do I need to do at the end of the month, right? Lay out the milestones, hit the milestones, carry on, reach your goal. Number 5, really one of the most important things on the slide is you need to take action. Even if you don't have the plan developed as much as you want, you need to start. Where do you get if you don't start? Where are you going to get?
Square one.
Nowhere. You're going to just kind of linger. You're going to be stuck in limbo, right? And you can spend your entire life trying to develop a perfect plan, and you're still not going to foresee everything. You're still not going to know that it's foolproof. Like we sit on a planet that spins, I don't even know how many thousands of miles an hour, and we're rotating around the sun in a galaxy with random moving objects. We can't foresee everything, right? But you have to start. If you don't start, you're not going to get anywhere. You're never going to see the other opportunities that are available to you. 6, you need to monitor and review. And 7, we're going to adjust to meet our new position and our new objectives, right? Remember, the plan is alive until it's done. The plan is going to evolve until it's complete. So remember, your financial plan is nothing more than a tool. Your financial plan is always, always, always part of a bigger plan. Who here wants lots of money?
Nah.
4 out of 5, that's not bad. But why? Why do you want lots of money?
Money makes the world go round.
Sure it does.
Without it, you're ooped. The way I see it, I mean, anything that you wanna do in life requires a cost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it requires
So-
time, I mean, it requires a lot of things, like we've just been talking about, but overall, without the financial,
Security.
yeah, you don't got it, you don't do it.
So if I take $1 billion and put it into a deep dark cave and throw you in there with it, you're gonna be